So let's just jump right into this. It seems Leroy has caused a stink in the Tekken community because of conversations about, is he broken? How's he broken? How do you deal with this stuff like that? Yes, and I've talked about the unwritten rules of Tekken, which make the game balance, and everybody's wondering about Leroy having a balance issue. Yes, Leroy does break the unwritten rules of Tekken, and I saw that the second he came out. I could actually show you exactly where he breaks the unwritten rules of Tekken and how to fix it, because I'm sure everybody would want to know that. Yes, it's not that. If you understand the unwritten rules of Tekken, of what's made the game balance for so long, it's easy to spot these kind of, well, not technically, but for me it is. It's easy to spot these kind of things and exactly how to fix them, because we've been doing this for 2.5 decades, right? But that's not the issue here. I could show y'all that in a couple minutes of where the problem with Leroy is, but none of that means a fucking thing until another area of Leroy is fixed first. The reason Leroy is the way he is right now, and the reason that he was put in the game like that problem needs to be addressed first. And this is the problem I need to show you guys. This video is going to be more directed toward NAMCO and Harada. I want Harada to see this. I want NAMCO to see this video, because this is a bigger fucking issue and a bigger fucking problem. First, you have to see the what made Leroy the way he is first, and that's more important. And another thing is, I want the Tekken community, this is more educational for the Tekken community. Tekken community, you guys are going to need this information, because subconsciously, everybody's been picking up that something's off. I know what's off. The second Leroy dropped, the day he dropped, and I saw him and I saw what was wrong with him, I was like, wait a minute, that breaks the unwritten rules of Tekken. And then I was like, holy fuck. I know what's going on. All the pieces fell into place. All the things that everybody's been feeling in their gut has been fucking off with Tekken. All of it clicked instantly. I know exactly what's wrong. I know exactly what's going on. And the thing about it is, the Tekken community is already caught on. You're catching on to this. Even if subconsciously you don't know what's going on, y'all know something's off. I've seen it. I've seen the frame whisperer. I've seen Eris. I've seen the main man. I've seen this in the comment sections of Tekken videos across the board for the last, since he was dropped. Everybody's saying the exact same thing when they look at Leroy. What were they thinking? What are they thinking? What the fuck are they thinking when they look at his moves and stuff like that? You guys are not far off. You're getting close. I'm just going to show you what exactly it is. And I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but Christmas coming up, and there's another YouTube video I want to make that's more personal. I have some fascinating things, but I feel like I have to stop everything so we can address this issue. And I don't remember which video it was. I know it was a video on Leroy, but I was going through the comments, and this dude made this comment. And somebody replied, and the guy who replied to that comment, when I saw his reply, I was like, that confirms it. This confirms what I see, what I know. So, but the way I caught on to this is because I was watching another company that's going through the exact same thing. I've been following the story closely, but as soon as Leroy dropped, and because I've been following this other company who's making the exact same decisions, it clicked of what's going on in Tekken right now. And the other company would be Lucasfilms with the new Star Wars coming out. I'm going to show y'all the decisions they're making and how it parallels directly with Tekken right now. But let's get to we'll start off with the problem, with that comment. See, in the comment section, there was a dude who said, what were the programmers thinking? And he was talking about Leroy. a guy replied, and he says, I am a programmer. I don't think he was a programmer for Tekken. He was just a programmer. He's like, you guys, he's like, you don't understand, but I want to let y'all know. The programmers know that he was busted and broken and stuff like that. Because as a programmer, we have to test every single freaking code that goes into the game to make it sure it fits. Now, if something comes in there that's an oversight, which makes a character overstrong, that's one thing. And I'm glad he said that, because this would address the issue of like Akuma. Because Akuma was imported from a different game, and they tried to put the mechanics of another game into Tekken, and it's not working. But I'm glad he said that, because that's very important with what we're going to do. He's like, but something like this, where it's obvious the character is overpowered, the programmers have no say in this. This would be a decision that was that the higher-ups would make, and those choices would always be behind closed door and away from the public. So of why they would choose that, but the programmers know. And I was like, this confirms it. And what I'm going to do is, okay, he said that, but I also went to college for graphic design, so I also know how some of these things are designed. I'm going to expand on it. There's an entire team that had to bring Leroy into Tekken. And you got to understand this. There was an art division. They're the ones who did the fucking badass design of Leroy, which makes him cool and everybody likes that. Kudos on the art department for, they're the ones, you know, they throw around ideas, they bring up concepts, they bring up sketches, and they pick. And then the programmers do the moves, and then testers come along and test the moves to make sure there's no bugs, and then they import it. But all the decisions for Leroy of the way he's designed and put in will come down to one person. One person's making these calls, and this one person is the problem. And I'm telling you, it's not Harada. All right? This one person who's the problem is not Harada. Because when Leroy dropped, everything started making more sense of season 3 and some of the fucking decisions that we've all been like, what the fuck is going on? And then it dawned on me, and I remembered. Remember, it wasn't too long ago that Harada was promoted in the company. He's now over esports in NAMCO. So that means he doesn't have as much time for Tekken. That means those decisions would fall on somebody else. And I'm guaranteeing you, and I'm betting the bank, that it's Michael Murray. And Michael Murray does not understand Tekken. And this is a big fucking problem. Because this is where all these decisions are coming from. But what I'm going to do is, let's talk about Star Wars and see what happened with them, so y'all understand and can see the parallels of what's going on with Tekken. Okay, so let's do we're going to do I'm going to give y'all a background story on like Kathleen Kennedy and her rise to power and Lucasfilms and blah, blah, blah. But this is going to be a case study on personalities and businesses and stuff like that. And after I explain in all these details, all right, stay with me, because all these details that I'm going to tell you about Star Wars, you'll see they're going on right now in Tekken. But let's talk about Kathleen Kennedy and her kind of rise to power. Now, Kathleen Kennedy was like been a co-producer with Steven Spielberg ever since the beginning. I mean, she was there like co-producing with like E.T. and the Indiana Jones and like Jurassic Park and stuff like that. So a co-producer is like almost like a bank and almost like let's just kind of like a glorified secretary. But the creative force has always been Steven Spielberg. So Steven Spielberg is the visionary. He's the one who creates all these amazing movies, all these stories, and she's a co-producer. Anything that needs to be done, she goes and delegates, takes care of that, right? So as he rises in power, she rises with him. Now remember, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas have been friends for years. So they've definitely all been in the same circles for years. And like, you know, friends and stuff like that, but she's always been closer to Steven Spielberg. Now, he's the creative vision behind it. As he rises in power, she rises in power, right? And all these movies that are awesome makes her stronger and stronger and stronger, right? I mean, what is she actually doing to get all this power? Nothing, really, right? So as Steven Spielberg is basically the man, and she's just co-producing with these movies, but he's the mastermind behind everything. She's just along for the ride, basically. Now she gets a hold of Disney. She goes over there to Lucas. Lucas is one to step out. And they basically con Lucas out of it, right? Now, Lucas and Spielberg, they're both visionaries. They both make movies. They understand these things that they create, right? What is she? She's not a creative. She's an executive, right? She's not like them. So Lucasfilm has passed on to Kathleen Kennedy. So what a lot of people don't know, and I'm going to give you all your first comparison between Lucas and Harada, because you can compare these two guys. They understand their genres, they understand their rules and stuff like that, but both of them have said you have to take risk if you want to be successful. Word for word, both of them have said it. All right, and like there's comparisons like Lucas when he created the Force. There's subtle rules to the Force. Harada creates Tekken. There's subtle rules to Tekken that make the game balanced and stuff like that. And you don't break these rules, but they also take risk and stuff like that. Calculated risk, which stay within the rules of what they've created. Okay. But she takes over. What most people don't know is that Lucas had a draft for the next trilogy. He had a plan. He had an outline. He knew. He gave the draft to Kathleen Kennedy, and it was something new and creative we'd never seen. What it was going to be about was the origins of the Force and what the Force actually was and what created it. Something that we've never seen before. Something completely different. And also that, the expanded universe with the books and stuff like that, all that was given to Kathleen Kennedy when George Lucas sold it. What did she do? She took it and she threw it away. Then she got J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson in to start making movies whatever they wanted. But the thing about it is, they had all that material, all those options. They threw it away, and instead what they did is they copy and pasted old stuff that's already been done, like A New Hope. Copy and pasted A New Hope into The Force Awakens, Return of the Jedi, and the newest movies. It's just a bunch of copy and pastes of things that's already been done. But what is done is, think about this. She was under Spielberg and then took over Lucas. She had all this power and took it over. It's now doing much to get this power. All right? And now they copy and paste stuff that's already been done. Luke is replaced by Rey, who has all these powers that she doesn't even have to earn. These stories in this business took on the personality of Kathleen Kennedy. These movies are about her because the business has taken on her. And what did she do? As soon as she started saying things like the Force is female and there's going to be no more male actors and stuff like that. And what she's doing is she's already started causing division in the Star Wars community. Straight division, even if it's subconscious, people don't, because she shows favoritism to certain groups and certain peoples, which causes division. Now, I'm not here to debate whether you like these movies or not. That isn't this. We're looking at the business side and what's actually going on, because there is a division. And then there's the craziest thing, like there's this huge cover-up going on about like Rotten Tomatoes and this news and the Rise of Skywalker. Like, it's crazy. You could Google this and YouTube and stuff like that. Just put in Rotten Tomatoes and Rise of Skywalker. Ever since 1,000 reviews, they've locked it at 86%. It won't go up or down from 1,000 reviews past 40,000. It's locked at 86, and they won't go up or down. You go over to Metacritic, and it's around 50%. Half people love the movie, half the people hate the movie, but it's locked at Rotten Tomatoes. So it's like this huge cover-up, and it's like painfully obvious. Like, to prove it, you could go look yourself. It's just crazy. So we got cover-ups, we got copy and pastes. She comes in, she nerfs Luke Skywalker, she nerfs Han Solo, she buffs Leia. There's all this division, and The first movie set a bunch of things up, it was really inconsistent. Rian Johnson comes in, does whatever he wants, and then the new movie is like this throwing together and making whatever they can work by like shoehorning in the Emperor, and it's just crazy. I've been watching this whole story and it's just mind-boggling. And Kathleen Kennedy's probably going to get fired because, I mean, it's losing money. I think Friday is a big deal that it did good opening weekend, but still not good enough. Christmas, and then like Friday, it's dropped like 71% in sales. It's just crazy. But the reason is there's been no vision. There was no vision from the beginning. It's just copy and paste, do whatever, cover up things, don't take responsibility for mistakes, and there was no vision of what the 3 movies should be when they actually had it. They had it. And stuff like that. It's a crazy situation. But the thing about Kathleen Kennedy is she's not like Lucy. She's not like Spielberg. She doesn't think like them. Right? There is no vision, there's no drive, there's no purpose, because that all went with Lucas. Steven Spielberg and Lucas, they think alike, they're like that. Kathleen Kennedy's not like that. She has no vision, she copy and paste, she does what she gives. She has favorites, she gives whatever they want and ask for. In this new movie, it's just like whatever you ask for, you get in this movie. And the subtle rules that Lucas set up with the Force where you could like move rocks, that's been thrown out the fucking door. Now the Force, you can actually you can FaceTime people in the Force, you can UPS things through the Force, you can accidentally shoot lightning, you bring people back to life. They just threw the rules out the fucking window. Alright? So, now, let's take that and let's look at the comparison of what's going on with Tekken. Okay, so remember that these decisions right now are being made behind closed doors. But the way it's easy for me to figure out is, one, by looking at what Star Wars is going on, but there's a different personality going on here, and I'm going to show you the different personalities. I'm going to give you an example, and then I'm going to show it to you. Because, okay, for example, let's pretend that Harada has kids, and we're going to pretend like his kids are like people who've been playing the game for a long time. They're the legacy players, been around forever. And let's make it 2 boys. These represent people who've been playing the game forever. Let's call them Eris and Adrian. No, I'm just kidding. Let's call them Billy and Bob. All right, Billy and Bob have their toys, which would be their their characters, right? Now, Billy and Bob know with Daddy, Harada's daddy, they know the rules. They know what they could get away with. They know what they can't get away with. And if they get out of line, Daddy will put them in their place. And we've seen this happen, but Daddy loves his kids. And he rewards them for doing good. He punishes them for doing stupid stuff. And he gets them back in line, but he actually he cares about them. And let's just say that, for example, new Tekken players, once he's trying to attract her like a hot chick. All right? Now, hot chick sees what he's doing, the things that he's doing. She's attracted to him. She comes up to him. Just like any woman, she's going to probe, test him, see what he's made out of, see what she can get away with, what she can't. And if she likes him, she's going to give him, she's going to send out the signals, like, come talk to me. She'll give him her number, and we'll have a conversation, and she'll stick around if she likes him for who she is. If she doesn't, she'll move on and somebody else will come on. That's just how it works. It's like as old as new. But what's been going on lately is a completely different personality, because that's how it's ran with Daddy around. But what's been going on lately feels completely different. This feels like somebody else coming in, and Billy's complaining about Bob's toy is better than his. Oh, Billy, don't you worry about it. I'll take Bob's toy away. And Bob's like, hey, what's going on? Oh, don't worry about it, Bob. Listen, you don't have to have eat your vegetables for dinner, okay? You can have candy. You can have whatever you want. I just want you guys to be happy. Are you happy? You happy? You can eat candy what you want. Oh, a hot chick comes up to him. Hey, I like that Leroy toy. Oh, you like this Leroy toy? I'm going to put all the cool special things on it. Here, take it. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. Do you like the toy? Just stay with me. You like me. See? Everybody likes me. You all get what you want. That's what season 3 feels like. That's what Leroy Smith. And I'm going to show it to you right here. Watch this.
Good work. Good. The man.
Hassan, watch the arms. They're fragile.
I have one question.
Yeah.
I know you are a good commentator.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, your comment is fun and
Yeah.
smooth and clever. But why are you singing every tournament? That's terrible. Stop that singing,
No,
okay?
everybody tells me to keep doing it.
Stop that. Stop it.
I'll think about it.
All right, did y'all catch that? Did you see what just happened? All right, Harada comes in and he tells Tasty Steve that you're a good commentator. I agree. Tekken wouldn't be the same without Tasty Steve. That dude fucking makes me giggle too. But he goes, you're a good commentator, but why all the singing? Why all the brah, 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 brah? Stop it. He acknowledges the good things he does, and then the stupid stuff, he says, stop it. And I have to agree, I cannot stay. Tasty Steve, I love you, bro, but when you do that, blah, 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 I'm telling you, me and all my friends roast you. It's just like, dude, shut up. But did you see that? That is Tekken. That's the personality of Tekken. He rewards the good things that you do, and then he punishes the bad things. It's no different than Tekken. But watch this and see what actually happens next.
Think about it. No, okay, got it. You're right, Mr. Harada. I'm not gonna stop. I'm good. I'm not gonna stop singing. I'm not gonna stop. I'm never gonna stop. And you can't.
Did you catch that? Michael Murray comes in after Harada walks away and he goes, you can keep singing. You see that? That is the personality of Season 3. That's Leroy Smith. That's the reason we have frame data. That's the reason we have punishment guides. That is what's going on. I'm guaranteeing you, I'm telling you, that's who's making these decisions. It's two completely different personalities. Okay, now let's start taking a look at the parallels between what's actually going on with like Star Wars and stuff like this. Because now I can actually start showing y'all and you can understand. Harada is the creator. He understands Tekken. And Harada looks out what's best for the community, what's best for the game. He's been doing this for 2.5 decades. Harada does not show favoritism. See, what Harada does is he rewards people who put in a bunch of hard work and effort and do good things for like the community. Like example, like Eris and Mayman and stuff like that. They put in a lot of work. They've done a lot of good things for the Tekken community. He's actually friends with them. Adrian just met him. He's met Eris a couple times. He rewards them for their hard work, but he doesn't show favoritism. He's never showed favoritism of like the characters they like to use, like upgrading them or something like that. He doesn't show favoritism because he looks at the overall picture for everybody, what's best for the game. And he understands the game and he understands this. But now, Michael Murray is not like that. All right, Michael Murray has basically been a, like a translator and glorified secretary, just like Captain Kennedy. He's not a visionary like Harada is. Harada takes risk and stuff like that. Michael Murray's not like this. He's just coming in here and like, let's give everybody everything they ask for. That's why we have frame data. But he also shows favoritism, which causes division, just like Captain Kennedy has been doing. He shows favoritism, which subconsciously people don't even realize is causing division in the Tekken community. Because what he's doing is he set up a scenario where people complain and he listens to his favorite and he brings certain characters down, bring up other characters up, and then everybody starts realizing, wait a minute, we can actually complain about certain things and we'll get it. And all that does is cause more complaining. It's caused division, caused tension, and everybody starts doing this because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. It has no vision. It has no guidance. And here's another thing. Here's the fucking biggest clue that nobody even understands. The reason Leroy Smith is the way he is. Leroy Smith is them acknowledging they know that Akuma's fucked up. Leroy Smith is their answer to that. And let me explain this to you. All right, because I've gone over this. The problem with fucking Akuma is no other Tekken character has this. He can do a high, medium, and low poke juggle when he has meter. That's never been in Tekken for good reason. Leroy Smith is them acknowledging this. And this is how they're answering it. They know what Akuma does is broken. But they're showing favoritism. It's favoritism to Akuma. And the way I know this is, see, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that you fucked up on something, because I understand why you would have fucked up. Because honestly, I'm going to tell you all the truth, that I did not know that Geese Howard had a dick jab combo until it was nerfed. Because I never fuck with the dude, because I don't give a fuck about him, and I barely saw him online, because I barely ever fucking play online. And my buddy messed with him a little bit, but then he dropped him quick, because he just lost interest. But as soon as I found out that that was nerfed, I was like, holy fuck, he had a dick jab combo? I thought that was an actual move. Well, no wonder they fucking got rid of it. Nobody should have a dick jab combo. That's idiotic. Then I heard that Akuma had one. I was like, well, I mean, they learned their lesson. I'm sure they'll nerf it. No, they didn't. It's favoritism to Akuma not to take that out of the game. And then everybody was complaining about Akuma, and I was like, well, this is the most balanced game. Let me look at it. Then I found out he had a dick jab, a low poke jug. Are you fucking crazy? And then the thing about it is you can't punish him because, you know, low parry. If you low parry those moves, the damage is scaled down. You hit him out of the air, damage is scaled down. It was just, that was a mistake. There's nothing wrong with admitting that. But instead of acknowledging the mistake, they know it. They put Leroy in there. All right, and watch. Because Akuma breaks the game because he does high, medium, low poke juggles, right? And he has a meter, and he gets full meter at any time. He can kill you. He can do a death combo when he has full meter. All right? And this is their answer. They put Leroy in there. High, medium, and low poke juggles. What does Leroy do? He goes into hermit stance, auto low parries, right? So if Akuma comes up, he would auto low parry a low. But if he tries to go for a poke, all Leroy has to do is back him two, and he parries any high and mediums. This is their answer to Akuma. They know he's busted. They know they fucked up, and Leroy is the answer. And also, he has a staff, just like his meter. Just like his meter, Leroy has a staff you can use one time and just basically do a death combo. Leroy Smith is them trying to cover up the mistake of Akuma without actually addressing the issue and taking care of it. This is the kind of personality that we're dealing with, because Kathleen Kennedy does the exact same type things and tries to cover up. And Leroy Smith is probably, and this is the thing that fucking irritates me the most, Leroy Smith is the biggest missed opportunity that there ever was. IP Man 4 is coming out, right? 4 fucking IP Man movies. If I was in charge, I'd be like, okay, staff, let's get together, let's go through these movies. We have 4 movies of badass fucking martial arts and start putting them into Leroy Smith. Leroy Smith should have 200 plus moves. But no, instead of doing that, they just copy and pasted other Tekken characters' moves into Leroy. Just like Kathleen Kennedy, copy and paste New Hope, copy and paste his Return of the Jedi. It's copy and paste instead of doing something new. Because you think about all the other characters under, like, Harada, you think about, like, Fang. His style is different than everybody else. Bob, different style when he was brought in. Even though they dropped the ball on the design of Lars, he fights different than anybody. Even people like Lucky Chloe, they all fight differently. Except for Leroy, he's copy and paste. No originality. This is the exact same thing that is going on in Star Wars. Copy and paste, just make it bigger and better. Leroy Smith dropped, missed opportunity, taking all that potential of everything they could have done and flushing it down the toilet. But it's also a cover-up of the Akuma thing. And he also shows favoritism, and he causes division. Kathleen Kennedy's going to probably get fired because there's so much division and so much mucking and going on. This is exactly what's going on with Michael Murray. Okay, but I want to make this fucking point. I do want to make this point clear. If Michael Murray, you're watching this, and if anybody who's friends with Michael Murray is watching this, and you don't actually like exactly what I'm saying, I mean, I don't really fucking care or give a fuck. Here's the beauty about not giving a fuck if anybody likes you or not. It kind of takes the power that people have of being offended by you and throws it out the fucking window. Like, if I don't give a fuck if you or anybody on the planet likes me, why would I give a fuck if you're offended by me? And what makes you think we would be friends anyway if you're standing against everything I stand for in the fucking first place? And just because a person's like a nice guy and stuff like that, that doesn't get any points with me. The bottom line of the thing I give a fuck about is doing the right thing, what's best for the game, what's best for the community, what's best for everybody, and even what's best for you. Let me break this down and explain it to you. When I was in the Marine Corps, after boot camp and after my my tech training, I went straight into the fleet. I went to Camp Lejeune, and as soon as I checked in, the first 20 minutes, I'll never forget this, the first 20 minutes of when I came to the Marine Corps in the fleet, finally, it was a speech on getting your ass chewed. First thing they fucking said is never take ass chewings personally. Ass chewings are there to make you better and make the Corps better, and never take them because you're going to get your ass chewed. It's going to fucking happen. So just don't ever take it personally. And this is fucking to fix and course correct. And there's also a verse in the Bible that says, rebuke a wise man and he'll become wiser and he'll appreciate you. Rebuke a fool and he will despise you. So here's the thing. You're hearing this and you're seeing this and you don't like it. I didn't write that book. That came from a higher power. You have the choice to be a wise man or a fool. The choice is yours of how you want to proceed from this. And, I mean, that choice is yours. But it doesn't change the fact is I'm still going to fucking tell the truth. And I don't give a fuck if a person seems to be nice or not. Because one thing I have learned in life is people who seem like they're fucking dickheads really aren't. They're mainly just straightforward and they tell the truth and they can't be fucking manipulated or twisted in any way, shape, or form. And guys who seem like they're fucking nice are usually the most manipulative. You ain't got to take my fucking word for it. Ask women. They'll tell you. Nice guys usually try to buy women and give them all this fucking shit. And then once they actually get them, they put guilt trips on them and saying, well, I did all this shit for you and I can't believe you. Just ask women. They'll tell you. And that's the characteristic traits I'm seeing right fucking now coming from you. So that doesn't fucking mean anything. You want to be on my good side? Start fucking doing what's right for the game and for the community and start bringing people back together instead of causing all this fucking division. You should not be in the position that you're in. And there is nothing, and I'm going to tell you this, and I mean this, there is nothing wrong with admitting this and being part of a good team and just using your strength where it should be. Because if you stay where you're at, you're going to make more bad decisions, you'll cause division, and then now that this information starts to come, is like, I'm just opening the door and shining a light on it, people are going to start figuring this out. But let me explain why I would understand. I understand that that's a cool position that, you know, anybody would want, but it doesn't mean anybody should get it because you're not wired to make those decisions. And let me explain. I'm an artist, and if anybody goes on my Instagram or they see some of my other videos, you'll see that I love to do drawings. A lot of the ones I've posted are of portraits, but that's not the strength of my artistic skills. Now, I can teach anybody how to do portraits, but that isn't the thing that I have a God-given gift when it comes to drawing, and it has nothing to do with portraits. Portraits are just, you know, drawing from a picture or something like that. But I can actually draw anything from my imagination because I have an absurd photographic memory. And let me try to explain this. Like, I could see something one time, and I print it in 3D, and it stays, for some fucking reason, it just stays up here. And if I go, like, years later and I see the same thing, I remember it from years ago and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. None of that, I could see something that looks like it, and I'll be like, that kind of looks like something. That's how I'm able to put like things together. Okay, for like example, like when I was in high school, I never ever told anybody this, but I never studied in high school because what I would do is, because my photographic memory is so strong. I never even told anybody this. What I would do is, the period before I would have a test, right before the bell rang, I would look in the book and I would flip through the pages. I knew that the test would be on. I would go to the next period as fast as I could, get the test as fast as I could, and I'd go through it, and I could, because it was fresh in my head, I could literally read the answers off the pages in my head. That's how strong my photographic memory is. And it's not just a photographic memory. I see things in complete 3D from different angles. Like, okay, example, like on my YouTube and on Instagram, I just did a drawing of Elise Tro. Now, I did a portrait, but I did her from one angle. But just because I've seen her before, I also know, like in the drawing, you can see right here where her cheek is, there's an indent right here. But I know because she's 3D mapped in my head, and I do this with everything I see. If I were to turn her head and I was to draw her on the other side, that indent wouldn't be there because it's more rounded on that side. I know that, like, her lower lip's thicker than her upper lip. Just off the top of my head, I know she has a mole. I know the shape of her eyes like this. I know the shape of her eyes like this. I know the shape of her nose when it's looking forward or up. But here's the thing. I've never seen her from the top down. Like if I was hovering over her and looking down, I know in my head, because it's 3D mapped, I know the exact shape of what her nose should be if I was drawing it. I can see it perfectly. If her hair's straight and parted, if it's got a clip in it going back, if it's wavy, it's got a ponytail. I see every single detail in my head. From head to toe, I could turn her around any which way I want to in my head, freeze her, and draw it. I mean, that's the exact same way that, like, comic book artists do it. Well, some of them. But, and I can take that kind of photographic memory and I apply it to things, how I'm able to see things and put things together and dissect them and see how they go together and work. I could do that with businesses. I could do that. But I also know my limitations. There's things I cannot do. Like, for example, my papa taught himself how to play piano by listening to the notes when he hit the keys. And he figured it out and taught himself how to do it. And he writes his own music. My brother does the same thing with bass guitar. He would do the exact same thing. And also, like, we had a buddy who played drums. He played drums. My brother would just sit there and listen to his drums and then just start picking out riffs that matched the drums. And my sister could read music and stuff like that. Now, I can sit down at a piano and teach myself how to play a song, but it's just muscle memory. I don't understand what I'm doing. It'd be like piano rock band or something. I know that if I hit these keys at the right time, it makes a sound, but I cannot understand music. I don't understand how they write it. I just don't get it. My mind's not worried. My mind is quiet most of the time. It's just nothing but 3D pictures and images constantly going. And my pop and my brother have come to me and be like, they'll talk about how, they'll listen to songs and they'll talk about how it's broken down. They'll ask me if I hear it. I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. I can't grasp it. No matter how hard I've tried, I can't understand it because I'm not wired that way. And I don't mind. So it'd be like ridiculous if I came up to like a musician and be like, listen, I know you did a song like this, but I want you to change it and redo it like this. It'd be fucking idiotic because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about because I don't understand it. I don't get it. I can't. There's nothing I could do about that. Now, I can do other things like I know certain songs I like. I know if I listen to it, it produces a certain emotion, and I could see a picture in my head that would go with that emotion. So I could take visuals and put it with music. Or if I have, because I can draw, I know how to produce an emotion from an image, and I would know how to put music with it that does the same emotion. Now, I could help with that, taking sound and images and putting them together to create something. And you know, compatible like that. But I can't fucking write music. I mean, it'd be cool if somebody came out, hey, Jeremy, you want to be a rock star? I'd be like, yeah, that'd be fucking awesome, but there ain't no way it's going to happen. I mean, people tell me to shut the fuck up when I'm singing Happy Birthday because it's off key. I'm not wired that way. I understand that. I get it. I know it's a cool position, but you're just not wired that way. And Harada, please, you got to see this. Go talk to Lucas. He was muscled out because Kathleen Kennedy got too much power and she pushed him out of his own creation. A creation that she doesn't even fucking understand, and this is exactly what's going on. But she's about to get fired. I'm sure she is. I mean, the rumors have already started. I don't want anybody getting fired. You should go back to is find somebody, and here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. You've seen any of my other videos, I don't just present and show you what a problem is. I'm also going to show you how to fix it. And for example, we're going to go back to, like, let's go back to Star Wars. Now, see, what should have happened and what's probably going to happen is, okay, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't know what the fuck she's doing because she's not a creator. All right? You have Steven Spielberg and Kathleen Kennedy. This is not a true understudy because they think completely different. Now, if Lucas instead of having Kathleen Kennedy, if he would have found somebody who thinks like him and understands Star Wars the same way he does and passed it off to that guy, it would be a completely different story, and that's what's happening right now. Jon Favreau is the writer and creator of The Mandalorian, which is fucking awesome. Thank God for that. And here's the thing, there is no division. You don't hear about division and toxic fandom and stuff like that. It's awesome because Jon Favreau understands Star Wars. Jon Favreau is also the director of the first Iron Man, which launched the Marvel Universe. He also voiced the character in Star Wars Clone Wars. So we're talking about a guy who understands, who's a visionary like Lucas. And the thing about it is, he did a compelling story. He used the Force subtly. He did a compelling story. He did a story about themes, about people and characters we actually care about and stuff like that. He gets it. Jon Favreau is like Lucas, and he should have got it in the first place, and he's probably going to get it anyway. And this is something that NAMCO and Harada, you've got to learn from, because this is important. Lucas should have done this in the first place, because think about what we could have had if he took over it. And I'm not just the only one saying it. I saw this before, and now people are saying what I've been saying for a while. I was like, this is the guy who should have got it. This is the guy who should have got it. Not this woman. She's a secretary. It shouldn't have happened like this. But this is a learning tool. If Harada is not going to be around, all right, don't pass it off to Michael Murray just because it's your buddy, all right? The guy doesn't understand Tekken like you do. You need to find somebody who's going to be a business consultant who'll take these things if you're going to be away and can come back. Or you need to find somebody who will replace you who's like you and understand it, and somebody that you can collaborate with. Okay? You need to find somebody who understands Tekken, who understands the community, who understands business, and who's a badass cool motherfucker, because whoever you pick is going to take on, Tekken is going to take that person's personality on. And I don't fucking want it to be Michael Murray's personality, and that's what's going on. And it's getting fucked up. Now, Michael Murray, what you should do is go back to your supporting role because you're good at it. Whoever comes in, you help them exactly like you did Harada. Because you'll know the ins and outs, and you'll be able to help things, get things. I don't want anybody to lose their fucking job, but if you stay in this position, you're going to cause more division, and it's going to be a fucking train just like it is. Because NAMCO, if you make the same mistakes as another company does, you're going to get the same results. Because Star Wars is a fucking mess right now with the, whether it's making money or not, the fan base is divided, and actually it's losing money, and it's just a fucking train wreck. But finding a true understudy to take the place of Harada is more important, because this is where all the issues of season 3 and fucking Leroy Smith are stemming from, the person making these decisions. And this is important. And I've seen the results of what could happen if you pick the right person. Okay, a little bit of story time right now. I'm going to tell you a story about an ex-girlfriend. It has nothing to do with us. I mean, we dated like years ago and didn't last long. It was like 6 or 7 months. The story is about a business decision that she made. Now, this girl, ever since she was a little girl, she was a dancer, and she went to this one dance studio, and her teacher, was also the owner of the dance studio. So she comes in as a little girl. She loves her like a daughter, right? She grows up in this dance studio and learning dance stuff. Now, when she gets older, hits high school, around college, she becomes a teacher in the dance studio, and some of her friends do. Now, after a while, this went on for years, but what happened is the owner started having some issues and problems at home, and she started becoming scatterbrained because of all that, and she kept pulling away. Now, my ex was going to college for business, so she's really smart in this, and not only that, her dad is a brilliant business dude. He started like 3 businesses himself, so it's in her genetics about good business. Well, she kept dropping the ball on a bunch of things, and since they cared about it, she would come in and she would make sure the other dance teachers got paid and the lights were on and stuff like that. And this went on for a while till finally she just had so many issues coming up that she ended up giving the studio to her. All right? Now, after she bounced out, now she has a lot more business sense and she has a lot more style. And when she took it over, the dance studio quadrupled to where they had to move to a different location. It was fast, dude. They had to move to a different location. They have to rotate classes. The productions are like humongous now when they have their, like, I don't know, their dance things or whatever it is. But she redesigned the logos, the clothes, like the logos and the clothes. I mean, it became so big that beside the dance studio, they opened like the clothing thing for girls to go and dance. It's open like 2 days a week or something like that. But that is a true understudy. They're both dancers. They both understand. But this one was better at business and took that business and made it explode. And that could happen to Tekken if you get the right person. And also another true understudy is something like, for example, football, Green Bay Packers, right? Brett Favre, awesome quarterback. They were always good, right? His backup quarterback was Aaron Rodgers, all right? His backup quarterback. Now, this is a true understudy because when Brett Favre left, Aaron Rodgers took over, and now they're still doing awesome. They're still an awesome team all the time. Now, why does this work as a true understudy? Because they're both fucking quarterbacks. Because they both think the same. They both understand the rules of the game. This is true understudy to pass off to somebody. Not Harada, not Michael Murray, not George Lucas, not Kathleen Kennedy. You got 2 dancers, you got quarterbacks. See that? You see that? You need to find somebody who understands it. Harada, go ask Lucas. He will tell you, don't make the same mistakes I did. You have to find the right person who understands this. And if y'all need, until you find that, I've shown y'all in my past videos of how to fix everything and how it gets fixed because I've already been through it with my little Tekken community. But you're looking for the right person. And let me show you how this fucking will work. And look, all right, this guy will come up, Billy and Bob, right? Hey, Bob, here's your toy back. Yay, thanks, Billy. But, Billy, give me your toy. Here's some more weapons. Now, some more guns and weapons. Now, both the toys are the exact same, it's just a different color. Oh. But, shut up, Billy. But, Billy? Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, that's better. You guys go play. Hey, hot chick, come here. Let me see that Leroy toy. There. Now it's better. But, I don't like the way it is like this. Sorry. No, I want you to fix it the way it was. No. Why? Because it goes against my principles. If you don't change this Leroy toy the way it was, I'm going to leave. Well, that sucks, but I'll give that toy to somebody else who comes along. You know what? You're an asshole. That's funny. You're starting to get to know me really fast. You know what? Fuck you. Actually, you have to earn that. But I am getting kind of hungry. You want to get something to eat? You're lucky I'm hungry. Where are you thinking about getting something to eat? I was thinking about pizza, but I'm fucking starving. Let's go to a buffet. Okay, that sounds good. Awesome. Get in the car. Billy, Bob, get your little bratty asses in the car. We're getting something to eat. Yay! Can we have candy? No, you eat your fucking vegetables and you can have one piece of fucking candy. Now get in the car, you little shits, and you're not fucking sitting with us. Yay! See how that works? That's the guy you're looking for. You need to find somebody who's like that. Okay, now that that's all addressed, we can actually get to the issue of where Leroy Smith is actually broken and how to fix it. Right? Because he does break the unwritten rules of Tekken, and it's pretty fucking obvious where it is. So starting off right here, check this out. Okay, now watch this. All right, he's in hermit stance, right? All lows, auto parry, doesn't have to do anything. Now it's all high and mediums, right? All lows, highs and mediums. All lows, highs and mediums. All lows, highs and mediums. See that? You notice? All lows, highs and mediums. Within a fraction of a second, you can't touch him. The only thing that the only option the player has is a throw him, but if the Leroy player can break throws, you can't touch him. You have no option. It's God mode, and that fundamentally breaks the rules of Tekken for 2.5 decades. It doesn't just break the rules of Tekken. That breaks the rules of every single fighting game there's ever been. Okay, so let's now start talking about his parry. First thing off is stop calling it a parry, because it's not. His parry is not a parry, it's actually a reversal. It has more characteristics of a reversal than a parry. And we'll go over this, and the people who know Tekken, as soon as I said that, it's clicking with you immediately. But for those who haven't caught on, I'm going to explain this quickly. His parry is no different than a reversal, because when he does it, he parries everything and strings. The only difference is you're just putting in the command to do the animation for the punish. That's it. It's just one extra step. But this is actually a reversal. If you were to take away the chicken option of Asuka and Paul's reversals, they'll do the exact same thing as Leroy's parry. Because when Leroy goes in parry, all you have to do is hit one button, and it will do an automatic punish on the first frame of negative of the move. That is a reversal. That is not a parry. Okay? So, and because just compare it to like other parries. All the other parries have unique qualities that make them like balance. Like Brian can only parry punches. Horan can only parry punches. Law has to be in a stance for his parry. But the one that would be most compared to is obviously Jin's. But let's talk about Jin's actual parry. Jin cannot parry, and everybody, even Jin, when it comes to lows, you have to manually input right when the low comes to do the low parry. Leroy doesn't have to do that, and he could go from auto low parry and straight into another parry. And Jin's parry, you can only parry one move. You cannot parry strings unless you manually put in every single freaking parry, which, ironically, I did that like 2 weeks ago on Tekken. I was playing my buddy Chris, and he had Hall Rain, and it was like so fucking fast. It was muscle memory. Like, it caught me fucking off guard because my hands just did it. He did a 2 kick. I parried 2-4, knocked him down. I came up, and I spaced him. My buddy Chris, he just drops his controller. He starts laughing. He goes, "Man, fuck you." I dropped my controller, and I started laughing. I was like, bro, trust me, that caught me the fuck off guard, too. It was so fucking hilarious. It was sick. And it caught me off guard because it was just like muscle memory. Because Jin's parry is like the epitome of timing and knowledge of Tekken, because you have to know when the other person's move is coming. You have 3 frame startup. So you have to know exactly when the other opponent's move is going to hit. You do his parry right when that does, he pushes it to the side, and you also have to know what the negative frames on that move actually is and what you can do to punish it. If it has low frames, can you do his cans? Can you do a hop kick? If it's a fast recovery move, can you do his 2-4, both punches? And you have to manually put that in, like if the opponent whiffed. And if you fuck it up, the opponent can actually punish you back. That's an actual parry. Leroy's is not. You just hit back and a button and he does everything automatically for you, and it's everything towards you. That is a reversal. That's being called a parry. So he could go from a stance that auto low parries into a thing that completely you don't have to do anything, it does it for you, which is a reversal. So this is an easy fix. The thing about it is, again, I'm telling you, you don't even have to change it. You don't have to nerf the moves. You don't even have to change it. The thing that you would have to do, just like in everything in Tekken, is you give the other opponent options, which will make it fair and balanced. All you have to do is add 2 things to Leroy. Not take away, add 2 things. And they are options for the opponent, and then the move becomes fair, it becomes unique, it becomes balanced. And this is, let me explain this when we're talking about Leroy and actually how to fix him. Everybody in life has strengths and weaknesses, all right? And usually, and people's strengths and weaknesses go hand in hand. Everybody has weaknesses. Even God has weaknesses. It says in the Bible that the weakest part of God is stronger than all the strength of men. So even God has strengths and weaknesses. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and they're usually side by side and hand in hand. Like if a person has a lot of strengths on the surface, they usually have a lot of weaknesses on the surface. If they have hidden strengths, they usually have hidden weaknesses. If they're a balanced person, that means they usually have balanced weaknesses. If they have overpowered strengths, then that means their weaknesses are usually huge. Look at the character roster of Tekken. Look at people. So you want to put it hand in hand, right? So with Leroy, you don't even have to change anything about that. He can keep that. You just add 2 options. What you should do is, to make it fair, is you add a chicken mechanic to his parry, which will make things interesting, because if he's parrying, and now think about the mind games that would come with that. If he's parrying a string, it would give the opponent a longer time to input a chicken counter, right? And chickens aren't easy. You actually have to practice them. And if the Leroy player is like parrying a string and he knows they have more input, he might actually think about stopping and not doing the auto punish command, which will leave the other person stunned at the end of it, and maybe he can throw him. See how that works? Now it becomes a mind game. If he does, and if it's a quick move, the other person has to put in the parry command real quickly. Just like if you were playing Asuka, you have to have it on deck ready to go, right? Now that makes it interesting. But since he can go from an auto low parry straight into that, you don't have to do anything. What you can do to make this fair and balanced is when he's in hermit stance, or if he gets caught when he's doing a parry, make it to where he can't break throws. That's it. Problem solved. Now that just gives the other opponent an option. When he's in hermit stance and the other person's like spamming this, they know that if he throws them in those 2 things, that they will get a throw. Doesn't matter what it is. So that would put, as soon as he goes in hermit, they'll think, hey, I'm an option to throw him. The Leroy player would be like, wait a minute, he's probably going to throw me. I need to get a move out quick. And then the other opponent might be thinking, he might be throwing a move out quick. Maybe I can get a counter. You see how that just starts the mind game. It makes it balance. And then it makes his parry, his hermit stance even more unique. And it makes mind games. And that's Tekken. Now we're getting back to Tekken. All right? And another issue is his staff, which I thought was a pretty cool thing until it came in, and it's not working. The reason the staff doesn't work in things like Rage Drives and Rage Arts work is because you can only do that when you're in Rage. So the opponent knows that you have those options now, right? Even when Geese Howard and Akuma have full meter, the opponent knows that you have those options now. And they can bait it out and they can look for the things that would make an opening for those things to come out. All right, with him having the staff, it's not fair. And I've seen Leroy players do this, is when they've won 2 rounds, they use the staff automatically to win a round and it's over. Or it's final round, they both won 2 rounds, it's final round. The first thing he does is use the staff. And it's common sense. I would do that if I was using that guy. And he just does a death combo and it's over. It's unfair to the opponent because they don't know what's coming. Everything else is fair because you know they have those options for comebacks and using it, right? So what I would say, you don't even have to change the move. If you want to make this fair, just make it to where you take his staff, not even change it, he can still use it one time. Only when he's in rage can he use it. And it doesn't even have to, don't even take the rage away. He can just use it one time in a match. When he has rage, he could use it as a comeback tool, and it won't even take his rage away. That means he could use rage drives and rage arts. See how that works? Now it lets the opponent know that that staff could come out at any time and they can bait it out. And it'll use it for like hype moments of that one-time use of like huge comebacks, which will make it interesting. You see how that works? Now it's fair, now it's balanced. Those fall under the rules of Tekken. This next one though, this next move that I'm about to show you, this is the one I'm going to try to keep my cool on because this one fucking irritates me the most. But let's check this out in the game. Okay, so this move right here. The reason this move irritates me so fucking much is because it's almost like you can feel the personality of you trying to be cute and think you're being smart. This irritates me so bad is because it's like you refuse to learn from your past mistakes. All right? On block, 0-0 forces crouch. We've seen this before. This is Season 1, Dragunov's down 2. This is the exact same fucking thing. It forces crouch and 0-0. It's like you refuse to learn from your past mistakes. That move had to be tweaked, and now it has been tweaked to what it was intended to be. It is a really good low poke. But this is like you refuse to learn from your past mistakes, because in Season 1, a Dragunov player only had to use 2 moves. And that's it, because it forces crouch. And what you did is you took Dragunov's fucking down 2 and you added it to Kazuya's fucking gut wrencher. Look at these. Look at this. What's the difference? There is no difference. That's the exact same move. And you added Dragunov's down 2 to it. And why does this break the rules of Tekken? Because it forces crouch to the opponent on block, which takes every single fucking character in the game and takes away 90% of their options on block because they're forced into crouch. On block with a move that launches medium counter hit. So why don't you just make his 0-0 and force crouch on block, his gut wrencher? Why don't you make this force crouch and do 0-0 on gut wrencher? Because you know that's stupid. It should be broken. You took his move and added Dragunov Season 1 fucking down to it. And that irritates the shit out of me. It's almost like you're trying to be fucking cute. Who the fuck do you think you're doing this to? This is the Tekken community, bro. That's just fucking irritating and stupid. Okay, I'm good. I thought I was going to be like, all right, Jeremy, you're not going to fucking get irritated with this move. So if you're going to copy and paste a move from other characters instead of being original and getting a bunch of fucking new moves, and you're just going to copy and paste, you need to copy and paste the things that make the move balance and tweak it. Okay, you tweak Dragunov's move to where it was intended to be. So if this is, it's going to be intended to be his fucking gut wrencher, which is -12 on block. This move is seen at the highest level of Tekken because it's such a fucking good move. That's the exact same thing that this move is. So you need to make it exactly like his move. Not force crouch on block and -12. -12 when this opponent blocks it. and then it's what it was intended to be, because that is the actual fucking move it is. There is no difference between those moves. Just look at the fucking numbers, except on block, where it forces crouch and 0-0. This doesn't force crouch, and it's -12, which means you can't launch it, but you do get a small punish, but it's a fast punish. But it's still such a fucking good and strong move. You see it at the highest level of Tekken. If you're going to copy and paste everything. Don't combine moves. And the reason it is, it's almost like you're trying to be cute and be like, well, this doesn't break the moves of Tekken with the things that Leroy has because other players have it. Yes, it does when you combine two moves and you don't take the weaknesses and the things that make those moves balance and you combine things, and that's what you've done with Leroy. You can't do that shit. So, this needs to be tweaked to be exactly like this because it's a copy and paste of his gut wrencher. So you see how that works? You just add those things to it, and we'll go over that again. When he's in hermit stance, or if he gets caught when he's trying to do a parry, he can't break throws. You add a chicken option to his parry. I'm going to stop calling it parry. His reversal. You add a chicken option to his reversal. You put the staff in rage. You, since you're going to copy and paste Kazuya's gut wrencher, you make it exactly like gut wrencher, his gut wrencher, and then after that, I mean, basically, yeah, it's check. Then after that, all the rest of his moves, are they dumb? Yes. But do they break the rules of Tekken? No, they don't. It just means he's a really strong character. Even his fucking Hell Sweep that attracts both sides is, I mean, it's fucking stupid, yes, but at the same time, it doesn't really break the rules of Tekken. It really doesn't take off that much life, and you can duck it and launch punish him on block. Everything else we've dealt with before. It just means he's a really strong character. But here's the fucking problem that you guys in Season 3 have shot yourself in the fucking foot. Alright? The Leroy I just said is not going to fit in Tekken. Why? Because you have fucked yourself over with the balancing of the game bullshit. See, now, what you should have done and can still be done, just think about this. If you took Season 2 and you brought it over to Season 3 and you just added to the strong characters, you added the new moves. That's it. And then the characters that you buffed, that you still buffed them. Like Josie got buffed, like Jack got buffed, like Dragunov got buffed, and you brought them back up. And then you finally started adding things to people who need them, like Kazuya giving them more pokes and some more strings, and then finally buffing Lee. And then you buffed Gigas, and you got them. You got everybody where they needed to be. You could have brought Leroy Smith into that game, and he would fit. The Leroy Smith I just said, he would fit into that game. And another thing is when you start doing that, when you have updates, people would get excited about updates because they would be hoping they would get something new for their character. Now people get fucking worried and irritated when updates are coming because they're worried that their character will get nerfed, or they're pissed off that somebody didn't get nerfed enough. You have shot yourself in the foot because Leroy isn't going to fit in this. For fucking nerfing characters and bringing things down and murking the waters, now everybody's just bitter and fucking complaining to each other. And let me explain this to you on a much smaller scale so you can understand. I've had to deal with auto low parries. The reason I was able to catch up on Leroy immediately, because I've had to fucking deal with auto low parries for like ever. Remember, my buddy Elliot has been playing Lei since part 2. So I've had to, and I used to play Lei. I used to play every character in the game, but as, you know, as time went on and I actually have a life and I can't fucking play Tekken all day long. God, I wish I could. But, you know, it became, you know, my character roster became smaller and I just go with my favorites a little bit at a time. But I've had to fucking play against a Lei player since Tekken Tag 1. I know that motherfucker character inside and out because of my buddy Elliot. I know I don't play him, but I know all his frames. I know all his juggles. I know how to punish things. I know all the setups. The microscopic time I did spend online, I would run into a lane. I was fucking just destroy him. Because I'm so used to Lei and I know every fucking thing about it. Right? Elliot knows every single fucking thing about my Kazuya and my Jin. He knows the frame. He's the one who can, on reaction, block my Jin's Hell Sweep. Because it's microscopically slower than Kazuya's. Yes, we know each other's characters inside and out. So after all that is said and done, what happens when we play? What is left? The core of Tekken is left. The mind game. It is straight mind games, because once you've reached that level, anybody who reaches that level, they know that the characters don't fucking matter, because you know how to punish every fucking thing of the other character. You know everything. So it's straight chess. It's straight trying to get them in checkmate. It's straight trying to know what they're going to do, how to punish it and stuff like that. And it's just a mind battle. And that's why people that are in the top 8s all the time, you don't hear them complaining about characters. They've reached that level. They know it's not about the character. They know it's about mind games. They know that they have things to punish every single thing that every single fucking character has. And that's where it's at. And that also shows a problem with Leroy, because these guys don't ever fucking complain. But when you got somebody like fucking Nee complaining about Leroy saying he's stupid, that means something's off. And yes, he breaks the rules of Tekken. And there's only 2 people that Nee's ever said anything about, and that's Akuma and Leroy. And those 2 break the rules of Tekken. And they have, and Akuma was an oversight, right? Leroy's not. But Leroy's coming with Season 3. And a lot of bullshit's coming with Season 3, and everybody knows it's off. All right? But everybody else, after you get past all that, you'll see that it's, it's just mind games. But it's said that Jin can parry every move in the game. False. There is one move he cannot parry, and I fucking know. And that's Lei's hop kick into Crane. I know. I've tried. Ironically, that is also the move that Lei goes into a stance that auto low parries. So I know all about fucking auto low parries. My buddy Ellie also plays Anna, who also has a stance that auto low parries. That's why, oh god, this fucking move. But you cannot parry that one move. Out of all the moves, that's the one move that Jin can't parry. I've tried. So, and it's such a fucking headache. But here's the problem with what's going on now. Like, if a dev was watching this and they heard me say that and be like, oh really, let me go in and fix that, I would be fucking furious if you did that to Lei. Why? Because you took one of my buddy's tools. Because Elliot isn't just my opponent in Tekken. He's my fucking friend. And we've been friends for years. And if you took away one of his tools that he uses against me, and I show him no fucking mercy, you made him weaker and you showed favoritism to me. What do you think that just did between us? Between friends. You showed favoritism to me and you made me weaker, because that's one thing I have to fucking worry about and look out. That is a tool that he knows that keeps me sharp on my end. You just nerfed us both, and you put a little division between us. And just think about the fucking... You did that on a much bigger scale with the balancing the game in Season 3. You did that on a huge scale to the entire Tekken community. To friends. And the Tekken community, you guys need to wake up. You guys don't even fucking realize yet. You guys just got trolled, and you haven't even figured it out yet. And don't put it past this guy to fucking troll you. Because think about... even with Star Wars, J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson trolled each other in front of the entire world in their fucking movies, calling them out. And if you've seen the movies, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Not even giving a fuck about the story, they're trolling each other. That's fucking pathetic. And this is the type of mindset that is the same thing going on in fucking Tekken. Alright, Aris told a story not too long ago, and he was talking about when Lucky Chloe came out. Harada got a lot of slack for Lucky Chloe, right? Because people were like, you just like these cutesy-lootsy types of girls and stuff like that. And Aaron said he overheard Harada say an offhand comment, well, I'm going to make somebody completely different. Now, in season 3, take Fukuman and put him right beside Lucky Chloe. With all his scars and all his tattoos and his shape and his size, look at him side by side to Lucky Chloe. And look at his name. Fukuman? How about fuck you, man? You guys just got trolled and you haven't even fucking caught on yet. This is the kind of guy you're dealing with right now. So let's look at the comparison. You've been trolled. He doesn't. You've been trolled. You were told to fuck you to your face. Trying to cover up. And this also goes with fucking Kathleen Kennedy too. Look at the comparisons. Trolled. Told fuck you to your face. Kathleen Kennedy nerfs Luke Skywalker, nerfs Han Solo, buffs Leia. There's a balancing of the game where they nerf strong characters and fucking buff characters with favoritism. Kathleen Kennedy brings in an overpowered fucking character, Rey, and then Leroy, an overpowered character, is brought into the game. There's favoritism, there's division, there's trolling, This is how I caught it. And you guys need to fucking wake up and see who we're dealing with. And also, like, Kathleen Kennedy also ignores the rules of the Force, does whatever the fuck she wants. The rules of Tekken that make the game balance are being ignored, and they're doing whatever the fuck they want now. And Namco, you really need to fucking pick up on this. Because what's been going on in Star Wars is a complete failure. The movie is trailing behind. The Rise of Skywalker is trailing behind right now. The Force Awakens. It's not doing as good, even right now. Even if the movie makes $1 billion, that's a fail. Why? Because the first movie made $2 billion. All right. And it should, and that was on what Lucas had built. The movie made $2 billion because everybody was excited for what Lucas had built. Now, and since then, the last movie only made $1 billion, and this one's tracking under it. It's been declining because of fucking poor business decisions. But when the original trilogy came out, New Hope was modest. The Empire Strikes Back got bigger. Return of the Jedi, a box office. And then you look at companies like Marvel. They'll make a good movie. The next movie will do better. The next movie will do better. Fucking, what is it? Endgame. Knocked it out of the fucking park. That's because Infinity War was so fucking awesome. And it shoved right in between that is fucking Captain Marvel, a trash movie that did $1 billion, and everybody went to go see it because Infinity War was so fucking awesome, and they thought it would have something to do with Endgame. But I mean, that stupid plank of wood was in the movie for like 10 minutes, and thank God, because it's just, she's so boring. But you see how when you make a good product, the hype gets bigger. And that's why Kathleen Kennedy is going to get fired. That's why Jon Favreau needs to come in. But this is, I mean, he's making the exact same fucking decisions, causing division, and you don't do that in a company. Tekken has been getting hyper and hyper and hyper, and it's built on a foundation that has weathered the storm in some fucking bad times, and now it's right when it's getting popular, you take the key piece, Harada, and you put him somewhere else, and you put somebody who has not proven himself and doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's changing everything. It's pissing people off. The legacy people ain't even new people are coming in. It's causing division, and it's going to make it fucking crumble. You need to find somebody else. And think about this. A movie like The Joker made $1 billion, and it only cost $55 million to make. Now that's a success. And The Rise of Skywalker, with all its reshoots and all the fucking money dumped in it, may or may not make $1 billion. Because of fucking poor business decision. And speaking of The Joker, which is interesting because I love Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and I love fucking Heath Ledger Joker. Joaquin Phoenix, you get what you fucking deserve. But if the people in charge don't, and some people don't like me saying this shit, I don't give a fuck. Okay? I've already been in a situation in my small Tekken community where I was considered cheap and the bad guy. I don't give a fuck because I was the only one using lows and throws. Let that sink in. And now I'm the one calling people out and saying, listen, you need to fucking get the game where it needs to be and stuff like that. Maybe people don't want to fucking hear this. And calling people out for their stupid fucking decisions. I don't fucking care. You can make me the bad guy. I don't really give a fuck. Alright? And here's an interesting thing about being the fucking bad guy. I saw a video. It was on my YouTube feed, and it was about the Joker, and it was about the Dark Knight. And in it, it said, who's the real hero of the Dark Knight? And I was like, well, that's interesting. And when I hit it and played it, it kind of fucking blew my mind. And it opened my eyes to some things. Now, the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, the dude's fucked up, and he has some fucked up methods, without question. But, and I remember when I first saw this in the movie, I was like, man, that's kind of fucked up. But you think about the story that Alfred says about the Joker, of a guy who reminded him of a Joker, right? They're saying warlords were bribing tribal leaders. Warlords were bribing tribal leaders with gems. A guy comes and kills those guys and gives the gems to children. And Alfred's team burned down a forest to kill this guy. I was thinking, that's fucked up. You just killed Robin Hood. And then the video goes on to say, at the beginning of The Dark Knight, Batman's breaking the law. He's a vigilante. He has copycatters who dress up like him and are also breaking the law. Crime's escalating. The mob's one step ahead of him. They move their operation from night to the daytime, and they're always one step ahead of him. The Joker comes in. All his plans seem to succeed. And also, he starts killing the mob. He bankrupts them. He makes Batman quit. He makes him an outlaw, which causes the copycatters to stop. The Dent acts as a force. And after all that, there's peace in Gotham for years. Who's the real hero? And all the Joker's plans are the ones that succeeded. And he's called Crazy and the bad guy. Well, that's interesting.
You're crazy. I'm not. No, I'm not.
Kind of makes you wonder if that was his plan ever since the beginning. And I do want to tell y'all a little story, because if you've seen my other videos, I talk about when the Tekken community in this town got together, how one guy manipulated everybody to think that lows and throws were cheap, which made me the bad guy because I was the only one using them. Right? I'm going to tell you a little story. And I do want to clarify this because he was copying my brother's style. And you could probably be like, and my brother like never used throws and he hardly used lows. And you'd be like, how can your brother be so fucking good? You keep saying he's so fucking good. How could he be good if he barely used it? His main has always been Hiachi. Oh, yeah. Oh, now you get it. Start thinking JDCR. All right? But this guy made me out to be the bad guy because he kept saying lows and throws were cheap because he wanted he wanted to manipulate everybody to do like him, which caused a lot of damage and a lot of manipulation. And I was called the bad guy for years until everybody started fucking catching on. So I've been in this position before. I don't care. But I do want to tell you a little fucking story. I will never say his name because of, just respect of human beings and stuff like that. But interesting story about this. We'll dive into a personality about the guy. After he was exiled, we were having Tekken night a couple years ago at my house. One of my buddies brought this new girl he just started dating over with him. And people were playing, everybody was around. She was sitting on the couch with me. We were talking, just getting to know each other, whatever. But come to find out, she had dated the fucking guy who got exiled, the fucking dickhead. And I was like, we talked about like, wow, what a small world. Because my new buddy that I just met at my new job, who was playing Tekken with us, now she was dating him. It was just the craziest story. Just talk about a small world, but. Started talking about him and she held something back and I was like, no, wait, you're holding some back. All sheepish. So I was like, no, stop. You need, tell me, talk to me. What the fuck, what are you holding back? She was like, well, I do got a confession about him. This is no fucking joke. After years of knowing this fucking prick, after he was exiled, this girl who fucking dated him just like a couple times, we found out why he was such a prick. He was overcompensating for something. This is a true story. You guys ever seen The Hangover? All of us were dying laughing. She even started laughing and she was trying not to. She's like, no, it's actually sad and pathetic. And then his ex-girlfriend after that came up and she was like, well, she's right. It's pathetic. Oh my God. We fucking laughed our ass off. And that did a lot about his personality. So I don't mind being the fucking bad guy. Michael Murray, I hope you're not overcompensating for something. And this is all fucking true story. Later she came up to me and the buddy that she started hanging out with, he's like, Jeremy, it's the best sex I've ever had. This is the only time I've ever had an orgasm with sex. And now they're married. This is all true story. So yeah, in summary, Harada, NAMCO, y'all need to find, if Harada, you're not going to be around, you need to find your true replacement. And remember, the qualities you're looking for is somebody who understands Tekken, who does not show favoritism, who understands the community, who has good business sense, and a dude who has a personality that will fit with Tekken. That's who you're looking for. That's what you need. And the thing about it is the people who are making these decisions now, you don't have to fucking worry about me. You have to worry about the Tekken community. All I did is I just fucking opened the door and shined a light on it, and now you have been downloaded by the entire Tekken community. You don't have to fucking worry about me. You're talking. This is not Street Fighter. This is not Moron Combat. This is not Smash Brothers. This is not Soul Calibur. You are dealing with the Tekken community. They will take one move. There's 60 frames. There's 60 frames in a second. They will take these moves and they will count each frame of each move, just so they can learn how to get an angle on their opponent. And they will do this with every move of their character. Every character has over 100 moves, except for like Leroy. You take away his throws, he has like 68 moves. That was a drop ball. He should have over 200 moves with 4 IP man moves. But you're dealing with a Tekken community that will do that with one character. They will count the frames with one character. Then they will do that with all the other characters. Then they will do that with all the matchups. This is standard practice for everybody who plays Tekken. This is the community you just try to troll. This is the community you just try to pull something over. This is the community you're trying to do a cover-up with. And I just fucking opened the door and shined the light on. You ain't gotta worry about me. When they fucking catch on, dude, and you try to troll them, bro, you obviously haven't met me or my friends or my Tekken family or my Tekken community. We fucking argue and roast each other on a regular basis. And then you just try to do all this fucking stupid shit with this Leroy and the fucking season 3 and all the fucking dumbass shit. Man, good luck. I'm gonna sit back, sip my coffee, and watch YouTube videos enjoying the show. So, yeah, have fun with that. And Tekken community, you guys have fun with this information.
This is the future.